Hello, my name is Chloe Cho, and I'm a freshman at Brown University. And I wanted to come here and kind of share my experience adjusting into college, just share my side of the story, and maybe hopefully this could help anyone else in their mental health as they're adjusting into college as well. A little bit about me. I'm currently approximately around like 3,000 miles away from home. And while this might not compare with the many international students here, I definitely feel like I've been put in a similar situation where I wasn't able to meet my family for family weekend and or Thanksgiving. So it was definitely rough to be in that position, where a lot of the events at campus were hosting things for family. And while it was great to see everyone and kind of guess who was related to who based on mannerisms and, like physical appearances, um, it was definitely a little rough to not have my family be there with me as I was adjusting to college, especially because it was a big change. I didn't have any friends coming here, and it was so far away, so I wasn't familiar with the environment I was going into exactly. And it was kind of like, the first time that you're just living alone and having to take care of yourself and also balance everything. So it was a little rough to not be able to temporarily, hug my mom or something. But something that definitely did help was finding people who could act as family in that case. So I appreciate all my friends who were there for me as I was kind of like alone. With being so far away, there was definitely something else that played a role in this struggling part of adjusting to college, which surprisingly was time difference. Not being able to contact friends or family at certain times that I would be available, but they wouldn't. And because of that, it was definitely a little rough for me at first. I was giving up some sleep to try and call here and there, but I think later I found a better system for that. So if you were struggling with that as well, just know that you'll be able to like figure out once you get into a flow, into college, once you get more adjusted, you'll be able to figure out the better times and trust me, it'll be okay. As for myself, a little personally, I am a very crafty individual. My hobbies are very geared towards making things, um, painting, drawing, etc. And being so far away, I had to leave a lot of my materials behind. And I think that actually made it also hard for me at the beginning. I don't know if too many people might be able to relate with this, but I wasn't able to kind of just, fidget make little things in the like tiny bits of free time I had in between classes, maybe. And I think that kind of took a toll on me at first, but I found other outlets for my stress eventually. I tried journaling, I tried just hanging out with friends, and funny enough, sleeping. And honestly, I think the biggest thing that was slightly more consistent from my high school self was just being more involved in clubs. But specifically the clubs that I like a lot and that kind of is geared towards what it is I do. So again, since I like to craft a lot, I joined a lot of clubs that mixed my academic or career passions with crafting. And thank goodness there were a lot of clubs that could kind of work with that. So I think that was my biggest main source of being able to relieve my stress, if that makes sense. So clubs like No Empty Seats is a big example actually. I found a wonderful group of friends that acts as my family. I can ask them questions, I can just share my thoughts, how I'm feeling, and it's just such a great group and environment to be in. So these are like the clubs I've slowly adjusted to being in so that I can use that as a source of course, being involved in what I want to be involved in, but also finding the right people. finding the group of people that bring out the best in me, as well as seeing people or those that I can bring out the best in. So I think that's definitely helped me a lot because I love to be able to contribute, but I also wanted to value a little of myself at the beginning. And one more thing about me that I did struggle in a bit, and maybe this ties a little academically or career wise, but I definitely struggled a lot more than high school to be kind of involved in the things that I wanted to be involved in. At first, everyone seems to be knowing what they want to do, what they're going to do, and what clubs they're going to be a part of. But for me, I felt like I was going in really blind, if that makes sense. And I definitely struggled at first to find the correct opportunities that I wanted to be involved in. And it seemed like everyone knew what they were doing. But some words of wisdom, sometimes it might seem like everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone understands something better than you, or maybe they're just, adjusting to college a lot easier than you. But that is totally normal for you to take your own time. And also, sometimes it just looks that way. Most of the times, everyone is feeling the same exact way as you, and we're all kind of struggling and wondering inside, am I doing enough? Am I smart enough? Am I, doing this fast enough? Am I taking too long? But trust me, take your time. Everyone has a different way of, you know, going about things, and it's totally okay to not be at the same pace as everyone else. And that took me a while to figure out, I think, in high school. But now I think I've come to just terms that sometimes someone will get to an opportunity faster than you, but if you're able to grow from that, then it's all right because that's the main thing you're here for. It's to learn and grow, to be a better version of you. And so it's totally okay if that's not the same as someone else's version of themselves because this is you, not them. And finally, away from your social life, which, may come from friends, partying, clubs, etc., and away from academics, again, could be clubs, classes, and then any extracurriculars, I think it's very important that while you're adjusting to college, you also find time for yourself. Honestly, this is something that I hope to hold on to for the all 4 years of my college experience, where you're just making sure you have some time. Maybe if you need once a day, or maybe you need, a few times a week, or maybe just once a week is fine for you. Make sure you have some time for yourself. And this, I mean, as in like genuine time where you can maybe sit down or take a walk or do something you love and be able to reflect or just think the things you need to think of. Because sometimes you're going to overthink something, but if you can think of that thing from beginning to end, you might be able to get rid of that completely instead of just thinking of the beginning first few rounds of what if, what if, what if. And if you can just think that through, give yourself the time to do that, then you might not be overthinking as much. And I think that's very important. It definitely is a little hard to find that time for yourself at the beginning. Suddenly, in this new environment, you're balancing clubs, extracurriculars, your academics, your friends, your social life, and taking care of yourself. And suddenly you're in a dorm most of the time with someone else. So maybe you don't find that quiet time as easily at the beginning. But trust me when I say that finding that time might just be very important in making sure you can kind of adjust well. I think I was overthinking a lot at the beginning of college, a lot of everything. What if I'm not doing enough? Why is everyone better than me? And what if people don't like me? Because you're in such a new environment with so many great people that you start comparing yourselves. But after giving myself time to think, whether that was through journaling or writing letters or just thinking on while going on short walks, it was good enough for me to clear my mind and just realize once I thought of the thing from beginning to end, I'm overthinking. And as more days pass, you go through your life and you realize that what you overthink is not always the case. And so you don't need to worry about those things. 9 out of 10 of the times, that thing you're overthinking of is not going to happen. So trust me when I say having that time to yourself is important for your mental health. It's okay to make time for yourself. Don't feel guilty. That is something I think is so important. Honestly, I might keep this a little short. I haven't really sat down and talked to a camera for 10 to 20 minutes. But my words of wisdom I'd like to just give as you might be adjusting to college is just don't be consumed by too many thoughts. Don't overthink because trust me, you'll be fine. And most everyone is overthinking just as you are. It's natural, it's very normal. And I hope, you can adjust to college well. And I hope maybe me sharing my experience might help you realize that something might not just be that big of an issue and you don't need to think too much about it and it'll be okay. Thank you so much, Nancy Seeds, for letting me take this opportunity.